We are really in the midst of a dual epidemic. Experts call it diabesity. Over the past decade, childhood cases of type 2 diabetes have increased tenfold because of rising rates of obesity. Commonly called adult-onset diabetes, children as young as 8 years old are being diagnosed with the disease. The consequences of this devastating illness could lead to an early grave for many of its victims. Our children are literally eating themselves to death.
Buy one.
We're killing our kids because we're feeding them food that they shouldn't be eating and encouraging them to be sedentary. And the two combined are a time bomb.
If we don't get a handle on this, what's going to happen is that we're going to get kids developing illnesses at a very early age. And some of these illnesses can actually kill them.
Illnesses like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, asthma, high cholesterol, hypertension, and bone and joint problems.
Their joints cannot carry their weight. The number of children that we're seeing with not just overweight, but morbid obesity is increasing. In fact, we had to purchase 2 scales to weigh children greater than 350 pounds.
I'm just going to take a quick listen to your heart, okay? We have a number of children taking the same medications as their parents and their grandparents. Okay, so you were down 1.5 pounds. But that doesn't mean that things can't be done.
Effortless.
Take Dave Zinzenko, the editor of Men's Health magazine. You'd never guess that a man who tells millions how to have the perfect body was once a fat kid.
From the age of 9 to maybe 13 or 14, I was about 20 or 30 pounds overweight. It was a trying time being an overweight teen because you look around and you see all these people who are enjoying these things, and you say, hey, you know, I want to get to the point where I'm having fun and enjoying fitness and relationships and these kinds of things. Also, my father was about 100 pounds overweight. He was morbidly obese, so he kind of became this negative example for me. His weight led to hypertension, which then led to heart disease, which led to diabetes, and finally, at the very young age of 52, he had a stroke and died. My father dying young and like that really taught me a profound lesson about health and fitness. And then I just decided I had enough and that I was going to wage war on fat.
With good nutrition and lots of exercise, Dave won his battle.
The best thing to do is to look at being overweight as something that is an obstacle that is keeping you from getting the most out of your life. See it as something that needs to be managed and overcome. It's the enemy.
And that's mine again.
John Marks is today where Dave Zinzenko was 20 years ago.
My father has diabetes, and my mom says that if I get any heavier, I'm in like the risk group, and I don't want to have that happen.
2/3 of the parents that we surveyed who have obese kids were also fat themselves. How you make these kinds of lifestyle changes in your kids is to make them yourself.
We needed to be much more proactive. It wasn't the kids' problems, it was all of our problem, and we all need to make a change whether we really like it or want to or not.
For the Marks, they have the awareness, and so now it's going to be to figure out how can they take the awareness and translate it into action. Here are a few of the things that I want you to think about when we're here.
Enter nutritionist Heidi Skolnick to help John and his family manage their eating.
All right, rules of grocery shopping are, don't be hungry when you start shopping, make a list, stick to the list. 1%? Iceberg lettuce just isn't as nutrient-rich as the darker greens. It's kind of good to expand your food choices. You might pick once a month a new food you haven't tried before. Like to eat mango?
I've never had mango. I'm excited with Heidi here, you know, teaching our family about nutrition. I mean, there's like so much to learn, and you know, it might just be the best thing in the world.
Good honeydew.
Have you guys ever had this? The nice thing about this is there's a beginning and an end. A lot of families don't even know that the food choices they make each day sabotage them. It's not no fried foods, but how about having fried foods no more than twice a week? So it allows you to get that food in there, but it's not having it so much that, again, it sabotages your own desire toward an appropriate weight.
With nutritious food in their arsenal, the Marks were ready to fire up their war on weight. The key to their success is to make meals in advance and freeze them.
I get so overwhelmed with the thought of preparing a whole meal. All I have to do is say, I'm taking this item out of the freezer, which doesn't require a tremendous amount of brain power when I'm that tired.
We're just gonna saute.
That's something I can handle easily.
And we're almost done with this whole meal now. It's not about perfect, but it is about better choices. What do you think?
I'm sure I can do this, no problem at all.
And I'm very hopeful for this whole family.
Better than take out any day.
Oh, yes.
Enjoy.
I see success in my future.
If there's a magic cure for childhood obesity, it's parental awareness and involvement. Parents have to understand what their obese kids are going through, and if your kid's not obese, you have to understand what to watch for and be on guard for so it doesn't happen to him or her. Genes aren't destiny. There are things that you can do about this to help both yourself and your kids.
This is cute. Okay, let's look at you. I, as a child, had weight issues. There were weight issues on both sides of our family. And I didn't want to see history repeat itself.
For the Penfield family, daughter Rachel's weight gain was a call to action.
When I felt crummy or worried or upset or bored, I tended to go right to the cabinet and get a handful of cookies. I didn't ever stop eating.
It was hard to acknowledge the fact that I had a child with a weight problem. And no matter how hard I tried, I wasn't able to bring it to a level that Rachel would understand.
Rachel's parents found Shape Down, a national program that targets the emotional causes of childhood overeating.
Often with obese kids, they have what we call crossed wires. So the feeling doesn't meet the need. One thing that parents can teach is to say, how do I feel? I feel sad. I need an ice cream cone. No. I feel sad. I need to talk about it. I feel hungry. I need some food.
One way to address the obesity issue with your child is bring them to a pediatrician. Have a doctor talk to them about the health implications of weight. It is truly a medical issue. It isn't an issue of looking good. It's an issue of feeling good. It's an issue of preventing cancer and diabetes and heart disease.
My parents made losing weight lots easier for me because they were always there asking how I felt, what I needed, and that just made it a whole lot easier. I think my whole family really benefited. We watch what we eat. We'll go on a bike ride. Sometimes we'll walk. We'll go to the park. And we'll just have fun while doing it. Nothing ever tastes as good as thin feels because the food reward only lasts a couple of seconds, while the other reward lasts you a lifetime.
You know what the bottom line is? It's about health and fitness and not how you look. If you are eating healthy and if you're involved in fitness, you're a cool person. And that's what it's about.